This podcast is a bit different. It's going to be going solo. Why am I doing it? I want to start off with me. I stopped schooling when I was 16. My father would make us sit in this room and all of us kids would actually have to write down, what do you want to achieve when you're 30? What do you want to achieve when you're 20? ChatGPT is the one who's interviewing me. This is usually what I would be answering with, but I want to go even deeper. Hello and welcome back to another podcast. This podcast is a bit different because usually there's a dialogue, but today it's going to be a monologue. This podcast is about an upcoming journey under trillion trees that I'll be going on. Not just a journey, but an expedition, an adventure, a tour. I really hope it's going to be exciting because I am a bit nervous. I have never been to Africa and it's just I'm very curious about how it's going to be. Going solo, going with a backpack, and that's primarily what we'll be talking about. What this whole journey holds, why Africa, what is trillion trees? Because a lot of people still don't know what trillion trees is. My cousin was just asking me today of what's your 501c's payment account? Because I want to send some donations. I was like, no, we don't accept donations. We're not an NGO as per se. We're completely different. And today is the day where I want to just do an explainer video, dive into everything that is related to trillion trees. Why am I doing it? What is this journey that we've started with trillion trees? But I want to start off with me. Who am I? My name is Saad. I've been born in a family where, so let's start off. I want to do this podcast as if someone's interviewing me, and today ChatGPT is the one who's interviewing me. This is usually what I would be answering with, but I want to go even deeper. So I want to initially start off with, who is Saad? Who am I? Why am I the way I am today? So I was born in Florida, brought up a bit over there, then came to Pakistan to live with my family, to live with my grandparents. And again, all the decision of my parents, my lovely parents who I admire and inspired by tremendously. I've been brought up in a family which is a business family, so we have a lot of things around business. We only talk about business. There's no job aspect in our own lives, none at all. All I've seen all my life is my grandmother running in one of the largest NGO sector in Pakistan. Everyone in my family doing so much for people and for the society around us. That's really all I've been exposed with. To think about others, to have a positive mindset, and to see how we can scale things, grow things, and make things bigger for the masses. I've been brought up with demographics, the demographics of Pakistan, the demographics of this planet. I have seen in my own lifetime the whole population going from 7 to 8 billion, which I'm sure most of us have seen. And it's just a fascinating planet to live in. This age that we're living in right now is just so amazing in the sense of the kind of change you see. This kind of change no one's ever seen before. Growing up with all of this exposure and all of this, like this whole mindset has really shaped the person I am today. I have not finished schooling. I stopped schooling when I was 16, started working full time. And this life changing or this pivotal mode for me that had occurred was this program by an organization called Future Hack that was in Boston. And I attended that, came back to Pakistan, and I was just so passionate about startups and entrepreneurship because that's what the program was about. Then I went all into working and all into solving a problem. The first problem that was there to solve was biogas. Not just biogas, but cow shit, cow dung. This huge problem around us that is there in this specifically in this country. I talk a lot about Pakistan because Pakistan is a very similar country to most nations in the world. I talk a lot about Pakistan because Pakistan is similar to a large number of countries globally. This is the fifth largest population, so it's relevant. It's an English speaking country, so it's relevant. But for some reason, people over here don't have that mindset of being relevant and thinking that, I mean, they have some sort of an imposter syndrome where they don't feel like they fit in everywhere. Anyways, coming back to trillion trees. So again, all my life I've seen people around me. I've met all kinds of people, whether they're billionaires, whether they're making $50 a month, making no money a month, living on the road, homeless with amazing homes. The exposure has been something that that's really only my biggest asset and only asset, which is my network and my exposure. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of things. But I think me personally, I don't want to talk too much about me, but I think something I do have is a good mindset. And that's mainly, I think, on all my podcasts, primarily what I've talked about. In my house, every year we do life planning. We plan our lives. We try to see what we want to do in the years to come at the age of 20, at the age of 30. In my house, we do a lot of life planning. My father would make us sit in this room, and all of us kids would actually have to write down, what do you want to achieve when you're 30? What do you want to achieve when you're 20? Every year you actually had to plan. And when do you want to die? All of this we actually had to write down. So this one goal that had always been a constant had been that I want to plant 1 billion trees by the age of 30. Now again, I'd been working for the past 8 years. Now again, because I've been working, I just finished this big project in one of our businesses, that I'd gotten this opportunity, this time on my hand, this free hand, that what is it that I want to do now? What do I want to achieve? What is the purpose of my life? Coming back to the core and actually start planning, start doing something that we want to do. So I sat down with my dad. Well, my dad sat down with me, and he was like, this one goal that you have had as constant has been that you want to plant trees. So why don't you do that? And I was all in for that. So that's where really it started. The goal was 1 billion trees. Now, my dad, being an optimistic, always trying to do more, always trying to do big, he said that while you're doing that, have 99 more people do this. So the target should be now 100 billion trees. You're doing 1 billion, and then 99 more people are doing 1 billion, which just made sense, right? I can find 99 more people like me in the next 5 years or 7 years. Now we started learning about that, and then I'd been exposed to global warming and climate change, but not as much before this. I made this campaign video, and we started working on this more and more, and then eventually realized that the global climate crisis is really huge. Things have really gone down. It's gotten extremely bad. And the amount of trees, hypothetically, if we wanted to plant to solve the climate crisis, the number would be 1.2 trillion. That's 1,200 billion, or 1.2 million times a million. That's a very large number of trees that we need to plant if we want to save the planet. But we can't just plant trees. We need to offset carbon. So again, learning more about that eventually came into the conclusion that we should start an organization that is enabling similar organizations which I wanted to start, which was a forestation organization, which are working towards carbon offset. Somehow make a model around that. We started working around that, and then the conclusion was that the solution is to actually partner with these organizations. There's hundreds or thousands of organizations that are working towards carbon offset, carbon sequestration, and they're the people who have done it. Why should I be another person who's going into the market and saying, I'm going to be able to saving the world? So why not make this a community? Why not make this a collaboration? That idea was the pivotal point where Trillion Trees was born. There's more organizations named with the same name. There's one in Australia. There's one by WWF and BirdLife Foundation. So many different organizations that are aiming to do the same. The real answer is there's not so many. There's only like 4 or 5 with the same name. But what we're bringing on the table is a bit different. What we want to do is make collaborations. We want that if capital, money, is a solution, why don't we connect that into a business? And then the people who are actually implementers, the people who are actually doing this, why not work with them, connect these guys, make some sort of a model that works for both of them? Maybe it's carbon offset funds, maybe it's ESG compliance, maybe it's actual profitable investment that goes into these companies, these organizations, these NGOs, and they can scale their efforts. So it's a collective effort rather than one single organization doing everything. Today, there is United Nations, but we still need more organizations. We still need local organizations like the African Union, the European Union, SARC. There's just so many organizations that are there that are also making that effort. That's really how Trillion Trees wants to work. We're based out of Washington, D.C. This year is a year where we are forming partnerships. We're inviting companies to look at our portfolio, to look at our mission, and to see how we can collaborate. So this year is a year where 2025, we want to invite companies to actually work with us, to see how we can collaborate. What is there to work with us on? What is your offerings? What are your portfolios? And work together to grow this effort, to find you more growth. That's really what we want to do. We want to work with you. We want to work with implementers to grow their efforts. We don't want to plant a tree. Trillion Trees will not planting any trees. I have planted these trees, but there aren't going to be any more. Maybe more. I mean, like, this just under Trillion Trees, that won't happen. I am going to plant trees on my own though. Now, around that 2025 goal is the Trillion Tree Expedition, which is about to start in 2 weeks. That's why I wanted to post this podcast today. That expedition actually is me on a solo trip going to 5 more important nations. The Trillion Tree Africa Expedition is a solo trip, an adventurous trip, which I am going on alone, where I actually spend time with these implementers, find out their problems on the ground, and then actually capture those stories, doing podcasts with them, getting to know the how they really live. What are the real problems with their organizations that they're facing? What are the real problems with their organizations that they're facing that we can play a part in helping and then solving? Along with podcasts, we're doing documentaries to really document again the same stories. How biogas digesters are changing economies or changing communities. How seaweed farms are actually creating business where it was not thought to create business before in the sea. And how forests are getting conserved and how forest conservation is happening. The livelihoods that it's creating and reforestation where there used to be forests but we've cut them down. All of this accumulative. And again, companies, green companies, technological companies that are working to solve these problems through different solutions, also meeting them. This trip is having primarily, I think on this trip, the most excited that I am about is the Ethiopian government actually planting 1 billion trees in a day, which is happening in July. I'll be going to Kenya, I'll be going to Nigeria, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Tanzania, maybe Uganda. I've already connected with a lot of people over there who are maybe hosting me. Maybe I just meet them for a coffee, have some Ethiopian nice coffee, or actually go spend time with them. Again, I don't know what to expect out of this trip. I just have a plan that ChatGPT gave me, and I'm extremely pumped or excited about it. But if you're someone who could provide me any kind of guidance, or connect me to someone who would be in these areas, or something that I should know about, or someone who I should connect with, anything around this trip. I'm going on the 16th of June and then coming back on the 31st of July. That's really all I had to say today. Really happy and really thankful for everyone who has really contributed to these amazing months that I've been working on Trillion Trees. I'm really excited for the journey that is about to it holds. The next 4 or 5 years are really, really difficult for this planet. We're seeing climate change everything around us so dramatically. I have plants in this amazing garden of my own, and which are supposed to be thriving right now, but they aren't because of the climate changing. We've seen heat where people are dying. Watching it firsthand is really upsetting, but also eye-opening. And we need to use that energy that we have around in us, whether it's this anger or this will or this happiness, to actually make an effort for the change that is supposed to come for our future, for our kids. I think that's really all I had to say today. Um, really thankful for everyone, excited for this trip, and excited to see who's in the next podcast. But until then, thank you so much. Goodbye.